This is the one phone that I really wanted to like. It's the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra. Why I wanted to like it? Simply put, because it was my design. I did it before you, Samsung. Quite a few months before you. Anyway, when it comes to the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra, this is a phone that I truly wanted to like. Wanted to love for the experience. But sadly, it really under-delivered quite a lot. So I want to look back at it again, like a third time I think it's already, and see how I think it is now. Has it been improved or did the experience decrease? Because when I checked it out later on, like half a year after the release, low light for instance, definitely didn't improve. It got worse. Either way, let's jump into the video and see how the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra held up and if it's any better, especially battery life, because that was bad. The Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra feels like a lost love. I know, this is a weird analogy, but trust me, it makes sense. Samsung has been my go-to device for many years, even before the smartphone era we know these days. I use Samsung, and there's a reason for that. The innovation, the features like having micro SD and of course a headphone jack and a charger included, combined with the software experience I truly enjoyed, and of course the great display also helped out here. These days, apart from Samsung walking a very different path compared to what I loved, I also started to concentrate on other things that matter for me. And that makes it that the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra didn't leave a good impression for me. But realistically, it wasn't just that. So my question is simple when looking back at the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra. If I will enjoy it again and if Samsung has improved the experience for me. So let's start with the biggest hit when it comes to the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra. Battery life. While battery life has been decent-ish at the release, it tanked after getting the Android 12 update. Battery life went from decent to simply being bad, with having days of just 3 hours of screen on time, which for me is still a good way to measure how well a phone does in terms of battery life. And for those who are wondering, the always on display wasn't on. But how is it now? With yes, having received an update between. Well, sadly, it's still bad and it still doesn't get me through the day. And in a day-to-day age where we have a 5000 mAh battery inside, that simply shouldn't be the case. I know when I mentioned this before, people said, clearly you have a faulty unit, but I do not. Battery life simply has been poor, and sadly, this holds true till today on my Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra. Then let's discuss a very hard topic, because this has a lot to do with preference as well. The camera. Let me start in a positive light. With Samsung, I always felt like you get a good software experience in terms of interacting with the camera. You get a wide variety of lenses, allowing you to use different focal lengths and giving you all the possibilities for almost every single moment. And in a day-to-day, when you want to capture normal shots, Samsung delivers overall good quality. Not my preference in terms of color and how they approach the image, but a regular shot does really well. Where it falls short for me, however, is the soul and character of the shot. Now, this isn't something that I can easily explain what it means. And simply put, if you know, you know. That's the best way I can go about it. But here, Samsung feels engineered in a way. Something I'm not looking for when I take images. Again, I give it credit for the versatility that you get with the camera experience, but not for the soul and character. Xiaomi, Sony and Vivo do that miles better, with Sony clearly leading this topic for me as well. But we aren't done yet with the camera experience. Let's discuss low light. With the release, low light was solid. It wasn't the best, but solid, and overall it could capture shots well. So, how is it now? Sadly, it hasn't improved. I would even say it has gotten worse. Before, I didn't really feel like the noise was an issue with the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra. Now, however,
grain and noise is definitely something that is almost a standard. Even more so in the Sky itself, where it simply looks poor and not processed well at all. So while I emphasize when it comes to the camera, a lot is down to preference, there are some parts where I feel like Samsung is failing, especially in low light. Here again, the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra clearly hasn't improved and hasn't done really well here.
So, at the end, do I think that the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra has improved a lot? No, sadly not. I still like the design, I still like some things about Samsung. For instance, software experience for me is one of the best. I like how they integrate the software itself on their phone. It works well for my own preference. It doesn't necessarily have to work for you, but for my own preference, yeah, I like it. It's something that I enjoy. Samsung displays, also really excellent. Really have no issue with that at all. It's just the rest of the phone that I don't care about. For instance, camera. Versatility is amazing on it. But the performance, I don't like it. It's like a mixture of wanting to get less saturation, which is a good thing, to having images that now feel even more soulless because it just has weird processing going on. Sony still does it the best. And then we have like Xiaomi and Vivo. But when it comes to Samsung, for me, simply the processing isn't good. I don't like the images that come out of it. It feels kind of, I don't know, just soulless. That's the best way I can describe it when it comes to images coming out of Samsung. Can it take some good pictures? Yes, but not for those who want to have a natural looking shot with a lot of character in it. Either way, the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra, for me, the biggest failure still is battery life. It isn't good. It's quite bad actually. Having 3.5 hours-ish on screen on time isn't good. It doesn't matter what people say. 3.5 hours of screen on time isn't good. And I know it's not the best measurement depending on what kind of user you are, but for me, that screen on time matters. And with the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra, it simply is still very poor. Yeah, this one is gonna go back and collect dust. I'm still paying for this thing and I'm not even using it. That's a real shame. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this update video on the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra. And again, this is my opinion and there are some things that you have to consider for yourself. For instance, camera and of course some other things about software. But when it comes to my experience, yeah, it just isn't good and it's not for me. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video and of course, talk to you guys in the next.